Check, check, check. Is everybody here? Am I here? Are you here? Are we even alive? What's going on inside this simulation? No, seriously. But shout out to everybody here. 77,100. The most entertaining outcome will be what we see here. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. My name's Sam Price, the Crypto Lifer. Welcome to the show. Shout out to everyone that's enabled me to do the show for 5 years without a day off. That doesn't seem like it's even real. May I go another 5 years. May God continue to give me this beautiful opportunity, and you continue to give me this opportunity. You show up every day. Without you, I have nothing. Thank you so much for every one of you. When people say, oh, Sam, you got 100,000 subs. Can I take a picture? Oh, Sam, I know you. It's because each, like first I had 10, then 20, then 100, and each and every one of you had the nice kindness when you were watching an internet, you were watching the internet from your home. Somehow my image came across. You didn't judge me. You took a moment, and then you actually hit the buttons for me. May God bless you. Like, I will forever be grateful, and I forever remind myself to have nothing without my subscribers and my community. I'd just be a guy. Maybe I'd have some money trading, and I would have made my millions with Bitcoin, but I mean, not to enjoy it with everybody, not to have this time. This show is special, man. So shout out to everybody here. Thank you so much for being here. My name's Sam Price. We go over Bitcoin, the NASDAQ, S&P, gold, oil, you name it. Send a chart in. We'll talk about it. This morning, head and shoulder rejection of the 200 moving average. Bit of a descending triangle, dump with the bearish retest. Dry, right? Then kind of a slanted, inverted head and shoulder. Shoulder, head, right shoulder, right? Higher, low. That is also a Fibonacci pullback to a 786. Perfect money printer off to the channel to the upside. Bang, right? That's kind of what you do, right? So that's a nice move there if you could pay attention. So if you see, everyone sees jambalaya, I see kind of exactly what happened. A print off the low, a higher breakdown for the late longs, and then a scoop up of the late shorts that jumped into this big candle quickly, just hoping to make some money, who got scraped up in the change here. So now look, a bit of a shoulder, head, kind of right shoulder, a lower high. Seems descending to me, does it not? And so you would have to assume with this rejection of the 200 yet again, we're likely going to start headed down a little bit here just in the next 10 to 20 minutes. So we have fun here on the channel. I'm going to break it down. You never know. Maybe it's a double right shoulder. It could be shoulder, shoulder, head, right. It could be a bigger inverted, I guess. Something like this that could change the whole, We'll see. So far, they dumped it. They pumped it back up. That was this morning's insanity. I stayed away from price action. I was in a long last night that I moved to break even. And I made $54 this morning when they dumped the price action. So I've been very, very conservative. And, you make a lot of more money if you don't have to overtrade. Seriously, I talk about it a lot, but like the less I trade, the more money I make. To be honest, and that's the old guys used to tell me that. See, look, there it goes. But the old guys used to tell me that, the traders in the game. And, you always like it. It's all so cliche, right? But see how you could read it. You could read it here. You could read it there. And price action kind of tells you what it's doing. Look at the way it printed that candle. That was just like, blah. It was almost like it just reacted in real time, right? I mean, it did, but that was just, it was like, ever see a spider? It just like, you can't see it move. It just goes from here to here. Just reminded me of when I watched those crazy bugs here in Florida, man. Anyway, let's do our top-down analysis. Let's break it down. Shout out to all the beautiful people here on the live. Let me get the link out to the trading group. Let me see what's happening behind the scenes here. Let's break it down. God bless all my beautiful lifers on the live stream. And thank you for being a part of the show. It means the world to me every single day. Bitcoin breaking down. Is this a bigger dump that we should be paying attention to? And on our way to 107,000 subs. Very, very close, folks. Looks like we may get there even today. Shout out to everyone that subscribed to the channel. When we hit 110, that's a big deal because that tells me just 200 is just on the way, man. I remember when I had 10,000 and we continue. And honestly, subscribers are fun, but the connection is real. I've met a lot of you people and the meetings have just been amazing. this year. Again, I met a lot of people there in Vegas. It was unbelievable. So let me get the link to the trading group. Let me send it on out and get things going here. God bless you people, man. I know I say it a lot, but I have this 2 hours every day, and I just have to say it. Thank you so much for the likes. Thank you for jumping on in. Thank you for all the people that became members. We will do private member streams. I'm going to go to private islands, places, and I'm going to do a member stream for only the members and, certain places. And like, well, you have internet there? Hopefully something will come through on the satellite, right? Bit of a cup and handle here. Can Bitcoin get this bounce? Or is it more drab to the downside off the, Anyway, I'm not really going to, I don't think I'm going to be trading. Thursday's not my favorite day to trade the small time frames. I've been very selective. You knew me, I was selective when the market was amazing. Because I know when it's even more amazing. I'm even more selective now based off price action. So the first thing we're looking at here, there is some hidden bullish divergence, which I've never seen on the monthly. I've never back tested it on the monthly. You could say, and we would have said it was here too, technically, right? And that was a complete fake down. And you can't, but you are pretty much the lowest you've ever been. Let's talk about the RSI on the monthly. Lowest we ever been is 40. We're sitting at 43 with a bounce. I mean, it's pretty dang low though. And that was that was horrible lows. The bottom of the actual market. We shall see. Shout out to anyone that took the Ondo call in the trading group. And again, it wasn't hard to see, but I love how TA just plays out beautifully. And what I love about my group is you can always kind of backtest what I'm saying. But look, there's Ondo, and I do this all in a 20% gain, but with a little bit of love, that's a life-changing amount if it's done correctly. And that's the thing about my trading group. You might just hit one trade a month out of the stuff you learn from me, and it just is like, what? And you can see all the Ondo posts and everyone that was, you know what I mean? It's not just me that gets it done here. Sorry, I'm calling it Ondo hype. I'm like so out of my mind. I guess I'm that crazy, man. Hype. I call it hype Ondo like an old man, dude. I feel like Donald Trump right now, like when he's like misspeaking. I feel really embarrassed. It's kind of weird because I'm like I'm really getting there. You know what I mean? Is Sam losing it? He's losing it. I knew he was going to lose it. So look, I'm looking at hype here. Look, cup and handle. Sammy Cup and Handy. This is why they call me Sammy Cup and Handy. Look, the cup down here. The cup and handle in the RSI. The MACD about to turn. Falling volume with falling price. You can see the volume is falling down. The sellers are losing. Resistance. Support. High volume nodes sticking out right there. You know what I mean? Kind of a piece of this one. Once you get above that one, it's going up to the volume area highs. We're looking for 54.91. We went to 56.50 or higher. Beautiful call right here. You know what I mean? And you can see I'm giving it to you at 5:18 at 3:55 p.m. We can jump to the actual call right here on Discord, right? 1 hour looking bullish. Said this puppy to the upside. And it's like this one I didn't give a stop loss because it's like, dude, you jump in, you put a stop below the 200, a stop below any one of these key areas, and this thing was gone, man. And it's interesting how, show me the charts and I'll show you the news. All right, look at this Bitcoin. We were looking for this. We got into the flag. It broke out, got sideways. Man, Bitcoin's been crazy. Shout out to anyone on Bitfunded. If you want to have funding, I have access to funding through Bitfunded. If you'd like that, hit the link below to find out more and to jump on in, all right? I even give trades. The other day I gave a trade. I said, this is a perfect Bitfunded trade that would likely get you to win. I gave it, and I don't do it all the time, but I do it selectively. So that also helps you in tune with what you're doing there on Bitfunded. So, okay. All right, anyway. So, I hope my whole group had taken Ondo and made a boatload of money. You know what I mean? I'm just trading leverage against my own holdings, so force price down. Interesting. Shout out to the Nightbot. Blasting it. So look, we have swing up to swing up, swing down to swing down, oversold stochastics RSI. All right. And this thing could start to make a bit of a move here. All right, we got this big resistance at 102,470. We got this bounce here at 82.5. You know what I mean? If we can get back above this on the monthly, I mean, that's huge. That's our first resistance. We're still holding support above this area here, too, at 71,280. Right? This is where this candle closed. As long as we stay above this key area, I remain more bullish for Bitcoin. I don't like this candle flirting with turning red. We do have 10 days. This could still chew up and end up somewhere up in here. We're fighting through it here. It got low, it's high. This has been a battle. If this turns red, a wick that big turning red, I mean, that's bearish. I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, this is great. Wouldn't make sense. Everything seems like there's an upward channeled motion here. I keep talking about how we've never, when we break these trend lines, and again, it just because it hasn't happened yet, this could be the first time. So, but just traditionally, when you get above a trend line on the monthly, you don't just like double, it doesn't become a fake out and go right back below. Like it eventually keeps it moving. Look, that was even a bearish close right there. I mean, it did, I guess, foreshadow that pullback, but it was dismissed. Anyway, so I always look at this monthly every day, a couple times a day even, just to reiterate, keep myself going, and show myself, what's possible in the bigger time frame so I don't get caught up on the smaller ones. Our bearish scenario, too, and I'm always bearish or bullish. Like, I have both scenarios in my head, bearish and bullish. I mean, I don't like to tell myself what's going to happen. It can annoy some people because, I got to stay open-minded. That's how I catch the best trades. I just don't know what's going to happen. I know nothing but the fact of my own ignorance. All right? Nothing. Got stopped out on BSB right before the huge wick, shaking my head. Dang. BSB. I'm just, well, dang. Shout out to everybody here. How was your morning? Put a 333 in the chat if you had a wonderful morning and you're feeling blessed to be alive. Shout out to everyone here that's grateful to be alive. I'm grateful to be here and grateful to be alive. Thank you so much for jumping on in. So bearish engulfing candle on the 2-week chart. Shorts that opened up shorts around that 82.4 that piled in, they are in the money. This looks bearish to me, like we could be going lower. So if that 2-week chart closes, and it's going to close on Sunday night, so we're getting close. We need a miracle on Satoshi Street over here. The 5-day chart's still hanging on the 200 moving average, an area that I've talked about and said is very important. We lose this, I become more bearish. Your real bearish scenario, look, this could be a shoulder. What if you get a head and shoulder here, right? And we have to short that right shoulder. Even if we get stopped out on a bounce, you got to short it. Because if you miss the big move, so you'd rather a good trader has good risk management, knowing that they can get stopped. And then basically you have bullets in the chamber to get stopped out. You see what I mean? Like you're up on the month, thousands of dollars. Like say you're up 7-8 grand. Like this, already I'm up 7-8 grand on the month on one of my accounts right now. Just chilling, right? It's up 7 grand. I didn't do tons of trading. I did a couple days of trading and I've left it alone. And it's up 7 grand, right? I'm going to see where it goes. But I have some stop losses. You see what I'm saying? In the tank. I got some stop losses in the tank, meaning the point what I'm saying is if I did see something that's likely to happen, I could take a shot and it's okay if I get bagged. It's all right. I have the risk behind that. Like I could go 1,000 for 3,000 on a next trade that I see, or 2,000 for 6. If I lose the 2, I'm still up 5 grand on the month. You know what I mean? So I was kind of make that a point, right? Shout out to anyone trading on BTCC and loving it. All right. They do have good benefits if you're just jumping on into access to good USDT deals, which is nice, right? To all the new signups. And, of course, very soon, we've been running this for a while now, win a rollie, man. You know what I mean? Look, I rock a nice rollie. It feels good to have. It's got some diamonds, champagne dial. All right. I don't know. It's, I'll show it to you. I'm not trying to brag. It's whatever. It took me, it's 17 years to make my first $1 million. I'm going to say that out loud. I'm not some big shot. Who knows what will happen in the end? You know what I mean? It's just a day date. Okay. I bought it over a year ago. I'm not trying, again, I don't want to brag. And it's like, it's, I guess every man, and again, maybe we're brainwashed, we're enamored. I want to buy a watch, and once you do it, you're kind of like, you feel like you were kind of forced to do it. You're like, damn, did I just do that? Because I'm part of like this, you know what I mean? It could have been, again, I do feed children. I do give money. I do all sorts of other things. So, once I have my life covered, I said, okay, I have a lot of fiat lying around. Why don't I just buy it? You know what I mean? But I'm not trying to brag. But my whole point is it looks nice. It's cool. Jump on in. It'll be cool to win your first one and not have to think about it and do it through trading. So sign up for BTCC, trade futures. All right. Yeah. They just entry-level Rolex, really. Like, most people laugh at it and think it's like, oh, look at, he's wearing the mini, the little one, I don't care, man, what people think of me. It doesn't matter, Looks great, Sammy. Thank you. I don't need a watch. I have my phone. 100%. 100%. I mean, you start doing business deals. You start meeting people at the country club. You start sitting around, you know what I mean? And everyone has a watch on. I don't know. It's just kind of what it is. As corny as it may be. And again, you'll see me on, in my happy space. I like to do what Logan Paul did. He bought like those 4,000 acres. I'll be honest, I'm not jealous, because jealousy is not a high quality. But man, like, at his young age, man, he owns an entire preserve. Like, that preserve is amazing what he did there. Anyway, let's get back to brass tacks here on Bitcoin, the 5-day chart. All right. Watch is a watch, brother. The value is personal. 100%, man. My first ROLEX was a date just. I like it as much as my sub date. I love it, man. See? Classic store value. Congratulations. Thank you. Yeah. It's all extra investments. It's smart. Fiat is going to keep losing value. 100%. The only reason you buy a watch is to keep the money from going down and to have something to wear that you kind of enjoy. So you get to enjoy not losing money. You know what I mean? To me, that's just the fun part about it. It's like, if you're, you know what I mean? If you're like me and you've been buying gold and Bitcoin for years, then why not invest in fiat? You see what I'm saying? It's just the most. That's the point. So the ranch is dope. You need a lifer ranch for mostly me. Yeah, dude. To have a huge lifer ranch would be amazing. Like, absolutely bananas, right? So anyway, let's take a look. We got to bounce off the 200 moving average on the 5-day chart. Can we hold that? That's going to be a key, man. You see the candle close below that? That to me is a signal of some more stress in the market. We stay above it. This is just a kind of a scary pullback to get people's attention, right? And it's just kind of one of them things. 3-day chart fighting to put in a tweezer bottom here. It closes tonight. This is going to be a serious close. This closes green. We have ourselves a chance of a bounce. Almost a bit of a double bottom there. You know what I mean? And previous resistance is still strong support. And we're not too far for the 21, which is pretty nice. The 3-day came back to the 21. You don't want to be soaring away from the 21-day moving average. You want to keep it close as you move. You pump up too fast, you had to come down too fast. That's how this 21 works. So it's nice that we didn't do that. You see what I mean? And hit that like button, everybody. Let's get our watches to 1,200 at least, to our 1,300 people we have daily. Let's keep it moving, man. Yeah. And anyway, I don't mean to bring out the watch because I'm not that guy. Like, I feel regretful to even do it, because it's like I put God first before my watch, before any material things. This stuff, I can't take it with me, right? I don't know where I'm going. It's this life is interesting, right? We have no idea when we're gonna go, man. I tell everyone, if you ever get that kind of anxiety about life because you don't know what's going to happen and you're kind of like stressed out, you take a deep breath and just be grateful for the moment that you're in. Realize that everyone has that same thought, and some people have that same thought inside a wheelchair. Some people have that same thought, and they, horrible things have happened. Be blessed that you're in a good spot. You know what I mean? And just be blessed that whatever you have in your life, you have, and go from there. We take a look at the 3-day chart. 3-day chart looking interesting to me. If this can close today green, that's going to be important. That's 9 hours, and I'll be that will be coming up on my nightly update tonight. Whether we see that bullish engulfing candle on the daily suggests that we should get a follow through candle to the upside. And yesterday it started so green and so nice. Right after 8 p.m., it was like too good to be true, right? And then we kind of come down to where now we have a pretty good wick to work off of. But we'll see. We opened at the top here, you see? So it'd be nice if we can clean this thing up, turn green, and rip. But this bullish engulfing candle tells me we should get a bit of a bounce. It's not 100%, but I mean, high likelihood that you should be higher moving towards that 21. Very low oversold the stochastics, RSI, MACD. Everything is turning more to the upside. We've had our sell-off. It's been, it happened, right? We started selling off in the 10th. It's been 11 days, right? So, and I kind of look at this as like a flag. It broke out, got back inside, or a falling wedge. Now you're kind of, you're attempting to put in some type of bottom. Again, it's been very, the 10 hour doesn't look good. 10 hour says it could be making a bear flag on you. That would have to kind of round out and stay up. It's a little sketchy. 8 hour too, and the bear flag, the length of the pole, something like this. This would take you down to about the 8 hour. Remember, we talked about you lose the 4 hour 200 moving average, then you usually come to the 6 hour. You came pretty close to it. And then you'll go to the 8 hour, right? So the bulls have to basically, it's almost like you jumped out in the water and you got to jump on out. Like the bulls got to swim us back to this 200 moving average. Otherwise, we're going to the 6 and to the 8 and we're going lower, right? The 4 hours looks like it's in a bear flag that lost the edge. I mean, clear as day. You can't, you could fight it all you want, but maybe a little smaller of a measured move. But it says somewhere about that 75.5, 75,399, and that's where I keep seeing price wanting to go. I mean, it was a battle there before, so huge liquidations up at 78,250 still for Bitcoin, suggesting that we may go up. Bookmap again. This is not 100%. It's a heat map order book. It shows us where the orders are. All right, and you can see when you see this type of stuff here, 78.3. This tells you, okay, this is where you could possibly be going. All right. And it says there's massive liquidations up at $78,300. Remix ignition plays in my head every time you say bounce. Interesting, yeah. Shout out to all the beautiful people here on the live. Shout out to everybody that live streams too. All my live streamers out there. My man Tommy Crown, Crypto Phase, Jason Casper, all the awesome people that I know that stream. May God bless all the streamers, man. Everybody that puts in work to help this entire industry move. Blessings on blessings. Shout out to Altcoin Daily for making videos every day. Shout out to everyone that participates and throws their hat in the ring. Wendy O, everybody, man. J Chains, every one of you people, you're blessed. Thank you so much. I've had great, Crypto Crow, what a great guy, 7 foot tall. Nicest man in the world. Every time you hang out with him, it feels like you're hanging out with a brother. Good guy, man. Wears his heart on his sleeve. I actually should do more with him. Nice dude, bro. For nothing else other than just the camaraderie, right? Don't get me started over here with my Boston accent. Hey, he didn't say the word right. He said camaraderie over here. He didn't even talk the way he's supposed to talk. That guy sucks. Don't talk to me like that. You said I suck in front of everybody. I told you not to have these conversations with me. That's me and me. You know what I mean? Hey. So anyway, he's talking to himself again on the live. Psycho. So look, can we get a bit of a move here? We'll pull a fib here from this range. And you can see we're bouncing 618, 76,800, right? And yeah, man, that 2 hour shows possible doji back to the upside. And let's so I see how it could be bearish. It really, and what will happen is maybe we'll just continue in some type of flag here on this. Might even be an uptrend, somewhat of a, and then we'll just continue lower. Might take 6 to 8 hours to give us the perfect entry, though. Just how it might be. The way the moving averages are getting tight suggests we might get the bounce we're looking for. Damn, man. Everything was looking sweet. We had this nice ascending triangle last night that I had mapped out. I sat on this thing all day. I worked it. It took 10, 12 hours. We finally got the breakout. It was like, oh, wow. I moved my stop loss to break even. I had gotten in the trade down here. See what I'm saying? I had gotten in the trade down here on this, you know what I mean? Actually, no, we ripped up that night. Yeah, I got in the trade right around here. Right here at the bottom of this channel on a smaller time frame flag. Stayed in it, got into the money, put my stop loss right there to break even, and you can see last bang on that morning dump got taken out. Stochastics are low. You know, possible doji. Let's see like what we could be seeing here. Well, the one thing that I like and I'm paying attention to is this key fat zone, right? There's a point of control right here that we bounced off of. That number is going to be 76.8, and it's all about the 800s, I'm telling you. And then right above that, after we wicked off of it, you see resistance, poke through, resistance. You know, so we got through it, and then we kind of right there again. So this area, the tip of this high volume node, key, 77K. And of course, right, my 77s. It's always on the 77. Imagine if 77 becomes the bottom, like my dad guiding me to the light. But so there's a falling wedge that could break to the upside. Falling wedges break up 68% of the time. So if you don't know anything about trading and you don't know your fibs, you don't know much about anything, but you know some supportive resistance and you know some pattern trading, right? Then this and you maybe you know an oversold indicator. I know a lot more. I know about the Fibonacci, which I just pulled and showed you. We bounced off a key level. So that's, a bit of a coincidence, no? Right off the 618 Fibonacci level, the golden pocket. And because there's fib traders that have pulled that fib, they were waiting for this, so they bought into the bounce. There's people that saw this support and decided it was a great place. People are using the VRVP like me and seeing the point of control. So there's all sorts of stuff going on here, all right? Money is not the key to happiness, but it buys a lot of keys. The keys to your house, the keys to your boat, the keys to your plane, the keys to your car. The keys to your wife's heart sometimes when you buy her the nice jewelry at the right time. No matter how much she loves you, she'll love you more if you know. I'm telling you, man. It is what it is, baby. It is what it is. Shout out to all the beautiful people here on the live. Let's get those likes up to the watchers. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for jumping on in. All right, so, this is going to be a battle. That's got to close green. Otherwise, we're in, And I have to be honest, it doesn't look amazing to me. The 4-hour looks like it fell out of the flag already, and it's on its way down. The target's right there, right? 75.5, 75.3, this area right down here for Bitcoin. Funny, Bookmap suggesting that we're going to get a short squeeze. And it's sticking by it. It's saying, all liquidity is red to the upside. There's the big old, that's where we're going to get everybody. They're all short at 78,004. They moved their positions down from 78.5, whatever. But it's amazing how you use the right vibe for me each day. I'm not part of your group, but I definitely feel it's the right place. If you join my group or not, that's cool. I hope to make people enough money on the live stream that they can then join the group. I started my ideas and what I was doing with my business with giving free value every day. And I said that is going to be my goal. My goal is to give free value and make sure I produce. And if I do that every day, then everything else can follow. Other people start with a business model. I want to make a bunch of money. That's kind of their, what I mean? And then I really, truly want to just teach as many people as I can. And I hope we can build businesses around that make sense with my, with my energy and what I'm doing. And then I go from there, And there's so many people that help me with that around the way, because as I produce the show every day and then also guide the company, that's not easy. So shout out to my partner, my peoples, my wife. Shout out to Jamie, Zeno, my, basically my only two confidants that help me run this entire show, which is crazy. And then also my people, the Coach E, Sean, and everyone, even GF Burke that's always been around. All the people that have been that helped me throughout this whole entire time, going 2,000 shows. So I appreciate it. It's been an amazing journey. It's not going anywhere. I'm not. Shout out to my fasters in the house. I've been fasting the last 3 days, eating at about 6 o'clock, not eating a thing all day. I'm having black coffee, making sure not to put any sugar or milk in the coffee. You can fast on black coffee if you'd like. Okay. Do they have ladies' Rolexes with thinner bands? Of course they do. 100%. 100%. 14K. Nice one, right? Yeah, they got one on Bob's, you know. Bob's is a good spot. I don't have any connection to Bob's. You know what I mean? But, yeah, like, look, you want to go here to Bob's and you just go to women's. All right? And, like, that's a beautiful one. That's very nice for $16,900. That's all gold, yellow, champagne dial. I mean, that's solid gold. That's going to go up in value just because it's gold. Like, it's made well and it's gold. You know what I mean? Like, this may not go up that much. It's 4.4. It's just, you know what I mean? It'll be nice to wear. But this is like, you know, that's an investment. So, you know, it depends on the watch. You know, me, it's all about, for most, you know, my next watch is all gold or I'm not buying it. You know what I mean? Now, they have white gold too. It's up to you. Anyway, Bob's watches, it's reputable, top notch. I personally have never gotten a watch from them, though. I have to be honest. But I've studied them. I've done a lot of research. And yes, many a women's watch there. Just wanted to answer her question. Don't want to be rude to the ladies here on the show. Okay, so the 1 hour time frame not standing up. It was looking like it could hang a second ago, and it's already getting bearish. Keep bouncing between 76.8 and 77.2 right now on a very oversold Thursday. And Thursday's tough, man. Thursday you usually wipe out liquidity. It starts to slow down around 2 p.m. If you've had any type of, you know, bigger momentum shifting out the week. We had unemployment claims, pretty lackluster, 1,000 lower than, you know, somewhat bearish, but I mean, you know, it's better to have less people claiming unemployment than more, right? To me, right? So, but it's not a substantial drop. You know what I mean? It's not like, wow, kind of a nothing burger, right? And that was like the drop this week. You know, Canada has some core retail sales and a few things that affect the Forex market, but for the most part, we're clean up until next week. Let's see what happens next week, just to kind of get a handle on it. I usually don't go this far ahead, but why not? So Monday, we're closed for a holiday. I believe, is that Memorial Day? Bank holiday, yeah, I believe it's Memorial Day. It's the last Saturday, the last Sunday of May, right? Would be Memorial Day. I think that's why it wouldn't be, or maybe it's the last Monday. Yeah, the last Monday in May is Memorial Day. Correct? You can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure yeah. Usually May ends like on a Tuesday or Wednesday. Memorial Day is that last weekend. This time you're going to get an extra weekend in May, right? So then we come into Tuesday after a bank holiday. So remember that. Bitcoin might act very similar. Since TradFi's taken over, Bitcoin acts very similar. And we have HPI. Okay, S&P Composite, CB Consumer Confidence. Yeah, not huge. Okay, that comes in at 8:30, at 9 a.m. And then Tuesday usually acts like a false move Monday. Tuesday usually acts like a false move Monday when you have Monday off. I've seen it many, many times. It's not the best. It can be a bit sketchy. So, one thing I got to put out, all right? Wednesday, so Tuesday will be a wild ride and usually be a false move and won't be as smooth as a regular. And usually Wednesday's affected by the Tuesdayness. I've seen it. And then Thursday kind of spills out and then you get the lower volume. We have core PCE at 8:30. Okay. And then Friday, what do we got? Nothing crazy, right? No. Goods trade balance. And so like really we have one data. We have PCE on Thursday at 8:30. I tell you what, man, I hate to, I'm not trying to say it's going to happen for sure. Up 500% on my hype long. My man banging on them. The idea is this though. Whenever I've seen banking holiday on Monday, it usually affects the entire week. It takes like the next week to reset the trading. I don't know why it happens. It could be liquidity. Could be a bunch of different reasons. I've seen it many times. So I'm just putting that out there. Not saying it's guaranteed. It's just, it's something that I've seen. This is trying to do a bit of a diamond. You know what I mean? You see some diamond vibes from this. It's not hot though. I'm sure some of you have looked at this and already kind of felt diamond-ish. You know, it just has this whipsaw in the middle, and, you know, it gives you that feeling of a reversal diamond possibly. Oversold here on the stochastics, meaning we got to kind of reset. If these can reset and you can keep above this lower high, there's a chance you can dig out today. I watch the stochastics a lot with price action. They give me, you know, some insight as to what's going to go down and what's not. So a lot of wackiness going on with the viewership today. I don't know what's happening. It's up, it's down, it's flipping around, you know, so keep hitting that like button, keep showing up, keep pressing on us. I think after all the insanity that went on this week, you know, with whatever was doing to me, the unmentionables there, who knows, right? So we're definitely missing about 300 beautiful people here, but I'm blessed to see everyone that I do have, so thank you. Can you check Arrow? A little more going. Also, the Arrow and Velo merger is coming up soon. Any thoughts on that? They're going to merge Velo and Arrow. Is that true? Interesting. That's good information for me to have. Thank you so much for telling me. Kind of pisses me off because I don't like Velo's price action. It's not as good as Arrow's. So it makes me kind of a little bit concerned, to be honest. It's like when they went, AGIX went to Fetch, you know what I mean? And it's like, all right. We're here, brother. Shout out to BK Polar. Sammy, can you check out Arrow? Looking a long weekend, but I bet some folks checked out for the weekend. Yeah. Hype, new all-time high. It is going to be so this weekend is Memorial Day weekend. Yeah. That's what I see happening too. Actually, we had great viewership this May compared to all the other Mays. It's been amazing. Yeah, Monday, May 25th. Yeah, here we come. Funny, I'll be traveling on one of the busiest days of the year, which is going to be crazy. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. My Saturday is going to be crazy. Yeah. Why not short, Sammy? Short on what? Honestly, the long on Hyperliquid was the move. I really wanted to put everybody in I wanted to make sure everyone in my group was privy to that information. So to me, I like to focus on the money, man. And yeah, shorting Bitcoin was great, but longing Hyper was the move, right? And you know, they had the ETF news coming out, and actually they got the news, and you could have literally bought the news, which is kind of weird this time, but you could have bought the news because the news came out 5 days ago. You know, hype ETFs, all this information, and then just boom. You know, if we're looking for more shorts, we're looking for the 15-minute to kind of curve into this. I'll see how these Stokes reset. If these Stokes reset and we're still kind of in here, we'll see how this works out. But it does look bearish for Bitcoin. And we're going to zoom into the 5-minute now. And look, even the 5-minute looks pretty ugly. Looks pugly. Why did I say pugly? That's mean, man. What does pugly mean? I don't know. I said P-U-G, you know, it's like some people love those pug dogs, man. You know what I mean? I don't mind them. They're cute, but they snuffle like they're always like. You ever been around a pug? They're always, you know, you hear their nose all the time. It's not like a golden retriever or a lab. Completely different story, right? Great dogs. They seem very nice to their owners, right? Honestly, there is that symmetrical triangle yet again, and these things dump more than they bump, I'll tell you that. And so you're looking here, and it almost, to me, looks like a bit of an M pattern too as well. Looks like you may want to dump further to the downside here to BTC. But you never know. I mean, there's no guarantees at all. But you're looking for this area right here, I don't know. 76, 386 possibly. So, pugs are ugly, crazy, no thing. Oh my gosh. Pugs are genetic. Pug is like a little gremlin. You guys are funny, man. There's people that love their pugs, man. Like, you talk about a pug and they'll cry. They'll cry their eyes out. You know what I mean? No, seriously, like, there's like pug communities and stuff. Have you ever met a pug owner? Any pug owners here? Someone's a pug owner. I am almost guarantee we have a pug owner here in the chat. Be honest, and we're not trying to make fun of you. Anyone here's got a pug? Anyone here about that pug life? That pug life, baby. You don't know about that pug life. You ain't about that pug life, bro. You know what I mean? Straight up Tupac pug life. You know what I mean? Two Dobermans here. My little bro has a pug named Ming. So cool, man. I have an English Bulldog. Those dudes are cool, man. The Rolling Roadshow has a pug, right? Yeah. English Bulldog. Let's take a look at the bigger time frames here as well. So what's likely to happen here, based off years of probability, is this will break down to 76,386. That's what's likely. It's not guaranteed. That's what's likely. Is it going to happen for sure? No guarantees at all, like I said, but it's likely. Let's take a look at all the opportunities out here today. Gold, oil, Bitcoin. Just make sure we have it covered. So there's Bitcoin in a bit of a nutshell. We have it kind of mapped out. We've zoomed to the 1 minute. We're watching it on the smallest time frame that has, I think, the most substantial information. And we go from there. All right. Makes sense to me. What about you? I like it, right? Me too. And man, it's below the 200 moving average. It's fighting to get back above it too. I had a pug named Frank for 13. He was the best, see? 2 pugs, 1 cross-eyed, 1 Wally. Because he can't see wall to wall. That's so funny, man. Sister-in-law has 3 pugs. It's annoying. Oh, that's crazy when you go over there. They just like, people like to pug up. Yeah, they like to have like a bunch of pugs. Yeah, for sure. Pug owners like to have a bunch, like, 3 pugs, 2 pugs, a couple pugs, because they're small. And they like to have little buddies with them, you know what I mean? I don't know how we started talking about a pug dog today. If you told me today the pug would be one of the main parts of the show, I would tell you you're out of your mind. I'd say I don't, that wasn't written in, so. My producer's telling me to cut the pug. Yeah, no more pug talk. Okay, sorry. Sorry, John. Thank you. Hired a new producer named John. John, thank you for coming on in. You want to say hi to everybody? He's going to start helping us produce the show. John, you want to come on in? No, he's shy right now. All right, maybe next week. People want to know, you know what I mean? They kind of see the team. It makes them feel part of it. Sure you don't want to come on in? All right, there's nobody here named John. I'm out of my mind. I got to do something to entertain myself when I'm on caffeine. I mean, what would you do? The coffee's got me going. So, anyway, let's take a look at the bigger picture. So we looked at the next week, which is kind of going to be wacky. We know we have a bank holiday coming up too, which affects price action. It does every time. Look, this is interesting. I mean, 3 higher lows in a row, getting tight. You can see the symmetrical building. It could go either way. One could literally wait for a break above and a retest, a break below and a retest, kind of like yesterday. That's how you can play symmetrical triangles. Doesn't mean it's going to work out perfectly, but at least you got a plan. In the next 20 minutes, I see sideways price action until we get to the tippity tip of this tightness and then bang, right? Sam, we love John. Keep him as a character. Okay. He can stay. John, you can stay, all right? All right. Thanks, John. He's been doing great, so. John better tighten up. I know, right? We run a tight ship over here, John. Don't play games. Okay, coffee on a Thursday. Let's go. I'm short from 77.2. Should I hold? I appreciate that at Better Prediction Markets, you would talk about Pug 2K profit. You're so funny, man. John is cool, man. So here we go, and we kind of sit on a Thursday. So now you got Thursday. Friday usually gets slow when you know you have a bank holiday on Monday. I'm telling you, man. And then everyone wants to cancel. A lot of retail is not going to be around to get flushed because they're going to start driving to their destination. They're going to take, everyone's remote now, right? More people are remote than ever. So they don't have to ask for Friday off now. So on Friday, a lot of people are going to get moving, man. They've been cooped up in one of the worst winters ever in the Northeast. They can't wait to go to New Hampshire, down to the Cape, down to whatever they're doing. Have a blast. You know what I mean? Let their hair out. Get into the wood, whatever it is. So it's definitely that time of year where you're just going to see less movement, and this weekend specifically is going to kind of start a little bit of that off. Now, remember last year, if you left the market, there was a lot of action in the summer. Bitcoin hit all-time highs and got to some huge pumpage. So leaving in May is not the answer. I'm telling you that right now. You want to pay attention to the markets, but you definitely have to be more selective about your trading as we get further into June, July, August, and then we come back around into September. And we go through this every single year. I will be here every day of the summer. I won't miss a day, God willing, as long as God keeps me here bright and early. I'll keep doing the show every single day, I might push a bunch of Saturday night streams to 10 o'clock or a little later so I can be with family or friends. That's the only thing that I really do in the summer. But for the most part, I'm ready and right, man. And I got the time to be here with each and every one of you. Have to say it looks bearish, Even that 3-day chart looks more bearish than bullish. But you just never know about Bitcoin when it's in this tight price action with low volume. You could just become one of the casualties. So my instincts tell me, hey, you're in a very high risk area to be live trading. The odds of you losing your trades live are very high right now. So if you take a shot, know that it's, you might lose, man. So that's kind of my, There's days where I'm here and I'm like, dude, that's a likely hit. I go in front of everyone, we hit the trade, right? And that's when my instincts are popping. My subconscious mind is all there and the whole thing works, but it doesn't always end that way. It doesn't, in some days I don't see that same opportunity. Other days we do, we see it. It just all depends. It just all depends. All right. I'm short from 77.2. Should I hold? I would never tell you what to do in a trade, man. I don't know if that's the last trade of your life. I don't know what's going on. I don't know your net worth. That's why I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I say and do should be ever taken as financial advice to the channel. This is a reality TV show of my life. I go live every day and I show you the charts, right? That's it. Let's take a look at the S&P futures. Let's see how they're doing and holding up. There was a lot of doom and gloom this week. A lot of people said this was going to be the massacre of massacres. Let's take a look and see what's happening here. Are we getting the bounce? Is it going to get, are we getting drilled? So, what happened was, shoulder, head, kind of possible right shoulders, right? Like these could be considered some shouldering, but it also could be just real, tight price action. Let's take a look at the 4-hour. Also, if you tap that trend and see how we tap this and you get in, you can see we're just getting almost like we're getting very, very tight now. Tighter than I imagined. I do see how this could become a head and shoulder pattern. Bill Gates sold all his Microsoft stock, right? It's kind of creepy. Makes you think something brewing, right? But that, you know what I mean? Back to the 200 moving average. I mean, that looks, but they're printing so much money. I could see a green candle get us tight, break out. So I'm leaning a little more towards a bullish move here on the S&P, and specifically you got everybody bearish. The daily candle just closed a bullish engulfing. I mean, and you're near the 21 with low stochastics. Usually not a great place to be shorting the market per se. You know what I mean? Let's pull away what I just did and look at the S&P on the daily and just kind of take a look at it. Shout out to my mom, man. When she died, she had a nice stake in the S&P, and she left that to my sisters, and that's doing very nice, man. I'm very proud, man. So my mom still provides as she is gone, man. Right? My mom must have turned $100,000 into over like $800,000, $900,000 on the S&P. Can you believe that? My mom turned she basically 8X'd the S&P. It did, 15 years, maybe 20 years from when she was like 40 years old to when she was like 60, or no, maybe 50 to 70. God rest her soul. My mom has since passed. It'll be 2.5 years now. She died November of 2023. It was Thanksgiving Day. It was, anyway, I don't want to get into it. I've gotten into it before. We've talked about it here many times on the channel. I never stopped the show. I never missed a day, no matter what. Some people think I'm cold and callous for it. I know my mom, and she always used to say, even when like there was times when I was like, she's like, don't you miss that from me, or don't you, and that's how parents are, right? You never want to be, it's kind of crazy. When parents get old and they need you, you know they need you. I was the son that always came home, always took care of my mom and dad. I knew they needed stuff like, carry the wood into the house, help chop fire, whatever it is, man. Not chop firewood because he had, but to stack it, get it ready. Dude, there was a bunch of tasks my dad needed. And he would overwork himself even when he shouldn't, and I knew he was going to hurt himself, S&P looks kind of almost close to a breakout even on the 1 hour time frame. Looks like it's getting tight. So I could see it go either way, but I'm leaning more towards, so in the next 2 days, sideways. Next week, maybe we do a little bit of nothing and then somehow start to break out. But, the pop doesn't happen till into June, but I mean, we're getting an AI bubble that's connected to tech stocks. Tech stocks are running the S&P, NASDAQ. You know what I mean? And then you're getting Amazon, Google, all the big boys on the S&P. It's getting quite interesting, right? Earnings have been great. Let's take a look at hype that continues to make a move to the upside here too as well. Can be traded almost anywhere. Look at the move in hype. Just absolutely parabolic. Went above my target and some. And it's got that institutional, right? It's got a real use case. Decentralized trading is making a big hit. The better it gets, the bigger it gets, right? Look at that. I don't even want to delete my old work, but dang, man, like, that's monstrous. Again, when you get that far away from the daily, I'd think of taking some profits. If I was in the long term, I guess I would be whatever's. And I held hype for a long time, sold it around this price, so I'm not really stressed about it, to be honest. I want to take away my older, but look, I mean, this is how I trade. I look for the daily to make tight price action. Maybe lose a trend line, get back in. And I look for the 21 to be touching price above the 200 with low stochastics. Look, there's even a bullish div here. 41, I mean, it's a beautiful pump. 50% gains in like 7-8 days. A little less. I gave this to the trading group. If, people pay $9, to see exactly what I'm telling you. Here I am days ahead of this. This is the 21st. Here I am on the 18th, as I showed you before. Like, hype is likely going to make this move up. And if you know me and you know my system, then you know cup and handles. You know the 21 above the 200 on the 1 hour. You know we're getting consolidation. You start seeing what I've taught you. It makes sense to you why this, you know what I mean? And every pump I've ever made, I backtest every pump. Say I knew nothing about trading and I came to this chart. I would then backtest this chart. I'd reverse it. And I'd say, what did it look like before the pump? And I'd say, well, the stochastics, right? You'd kind of play it out a little bit. You bet the stochastics got low, hit the dotted line. There's a pump right before it even. But there you get div, you got a stochastics curving. MACD shows lack of bearish momentum. There's like no MACD hill before the big pump. It's telling you what's going to happen. It's like the tightness. And you can even pull this and turn it into a bigger flag almost. Like a rising wedge that's going to break out parabolic. You could take this whole length of this pole. That's going to be the move, the bigger move. That tells you you're going to $70. Right? And then you see how this thing pans out, and I'm like, it very well may continue before a bigger move down. You never want to chase this stuff, so if you're looking for a move, you got to use the smaller time frames, the 15-minute, the 5. Like you went to the 5 here, and I do stuff like this all the time. You see me, I make a flag. I make whatever flag I can. Doesn't matter, and I make for the 21 is near price, and I got low stochastic. And bang, like those two things could bind, man. I do that on everything. And it's just like, you could do it upside down. If things were bearish, you do the same, this would be a double top, lower high. You could flip the chart upside down using Control I. Or no, Alt I. And then we get back to Bitcoin doing what I just told you it was going to do. Get very tight inside the channel. These mainly dump. Kind of looking like it's about to dump now. I don't trust price action at all today. I really don't. Yeah. So sketchy right now. Very, very sketchy. So, and then if you really want to look into, some people are in these small time frames looking for this, like that's a flag right there that could possibly boom. And Bitcoin pumps and you get this little move together and then bang, right? I'm telling you right now, this is what's happening. People know Bitcoin's scarce and it's in a good price. So if people make a bunch of money trading hyper liquid institution, what they're going to do is they're going to use some of that money, in my humble opinion, to buy Bitcoin. It used to be Bitcoin pumps and rolled into the altcoins. To me, I'm seeing selective altcoins pump. And why is that? Well, because Bitcoin was high. It was on its rally, 75, 80K, boom. You shovel off into something small. But now these altcoins, this is about to hit all-time high, and Bitcoin's way below its all-time high. It's in a good place. So you use this money to, you know what I mean? So I believe, what I see is, I've seen this before, is they're going to start using selective altcoins to pump their bags so they can shift into buying more Bitcoin on the low. So you're going to see altcoins pump first. Certain ones right now for the next couple of weeks, they're going to fund the Bitcoin rally. You see what I'm saying? And not entirely. Like the bigger Bitcoin rally will be funded by bigger institutional buying, more ETF consumption, and just the fact that it's scarcer than anything you've ever seen, and it's going to continue to be scarce, right? Now, that's a high-risk scalp on Hyperliquid. Now, can Hyperliquid pump as Bitcoin dumps? Yeah, it definitely can, right? Would I do both? No, I would pick one. I wouldn't be shorting Bitcoin and long and hype. Like, I'm going to warm up to this idea. I don't know if I'm going to do. I'm not into trading altcoins heavily on leverage. It's very rare for me to do so. But I like, I'm warming up to what I'm seeing here just a little bit. Even if I just show you the breakout, I can see us going that length. This is the best length there. I might be a little high on that. And you'd like it to kind of come down and hang out in here for a little bit instead of just breaking out all the way, which it may. I mean, it looks somewhat aggressive of an angle. And yes, you're like an artist at times when you're making your patterns. Like, you kind of tweak, you twist, and you get better at this. It becomes like, the way you see, some people are going to spit their coffee out, but the way you see someone using watercolor, right? And it just, you know what I mean? It's just a little bit of there's a move to it. You just start being more fluid with the way you use TA. It just kind of comes with the territory. I can't explain it. Possible move there. Could easily get stopped out on low volume Thursdays. A lot of this stuff has been tight recently, so you got to be careful. 67.20 cents, right? Stop loss is at 60.36. Yeah, very small lev compared to what I would ever do on Bitcoin. And I wouldn't get in before me. I'm not like 500 for $2,000. A great way to lose $500. That's how I look at it. Very high risk. Maybe I do 3 for 9 would be a little more. 260 for 1,000 is really up my alley. 4 to 1. I mean, catch a 4 to 1 would be nice. I don't have to risk a lot too, It's the hypest thing right now. I have to just believe that people are going to keep buying. I'm on the 1 minute. You have to believe that people are going to keep buying this. And they're not about to get wrecked just yet. Great, now there's coffee all over the floor. My bad, man. I didn't mean that. Hey, let me help you out. Siri, Google CryptoLifer.com. Hey, Google, go to CryptoLifer.com on my Android phone. Hey, Alexa, Google CryptoLifer.com. Siri, can you go to CryptoLifer.com on the website, CryptoLifer.com? We're seeing right now, this could easily be a stop hunt. We're going to check it out. Can you go 280 for 9? Can you make $900 in an hour and a half at the very, you know what I mean? That's the question here. You could risk 250 for 900, and it could happen in minutes. Look at this. They're toying with this puppy. You see how it's so like, I'm not the only one watching price, just like I'm doing it right here. So once you trade patterns and you see the patterns forming and moving and people trading inside of them, you know that it's spot on. You know what I mean? Like it's like nothing you've ever seen. They teach you what they're doing as they do it. You know what I mean? The lessons are learned as you use them. That's why I think pattern trading changes your mind forever. You're in the supermarket looking for patterns. You know, you're watching people differently. You realize you could be the outlier all the time. You know, you're always looking around to see if someone's, you know, whenever I'm in a public area, I'm looking to see who the con artist is, who's watching all the people. Is there someone sitting there watching? I always feel like I'm an agent, you know what I mean? Like tapping in, I'm like, yeah, Code Red, I see you on the left. I'm going to take the left flank over, I see you. Yeah. You know what I mean? I feel like I am in a movie and I work for the CIA every time I'm outside. It's so weird, right? But I think it's just I'm unawares, you know? Always paying attention, always wondering, always seeing what's going on. Look up, look below, look left, look right. You never know who's coming. Yeah, I'll take a risk, man, but I might. Every time I trade altcoins, I lose. I'll tell you that right now. Almost not every. I shouldn't say that, but most times. Oh, come on! What happened there? They grifted me. Whatever was super cheap to get in, so $5. Let's see, baby. Let's see. Can we get a move here? Live trading on weeks hype. A little late too, but let's see if we can get in on this party, man. Just clip a little bit. If I can get 300, I take it, right? 400, I take it. Very high risk. I'm likely to lose the trade. I just want to make that clear. Thursdays aren't great. There's a lot against me right now. I think it's a 50-50 shot, even though I like the setup. I think there's a 50-50 chance I hit this. Not a 60-40, not a 70-30. I don't believe I have a great edge here. So, I think smart money concept change your the money does what it does forever. Maybe. Yeah. Just yesterday, I was about to get in on the descending triangle on little potatoes. Hey, don't touch the potatoes over here. Always know where the exits are just in case. I stay ready. Amen, brother. Amen. So we about to moon. Really? It says Bitcoin taking the 1 EMA. Really? Good news for Bitcoin? Is it good news for Bitty Bitcoin? All right, we're battling. Sideways. Look how sideways hype is, too. The second I pay attention, it just sits in lockstep. It's so crazy. It's like, I feel like whenever I look at something lately, it sits there and goes sideways for an hour. Right? Bitcoin 1 minute just cracked that 200. Okay. Okay, a little bit of a move. So look, it broke out of the descending of the symmetrical to the upside, folks, to the upside. And now I might be able to trade the model. All right. Bitcoin broke out. Nice breakout for Bitcoin. No true rhyme or reason. Just, these are 50-50 shots. It took the uptrend. We talked about how this is massive support right here. We're attempting to hold. That pump should help hype. Bitcoin pumping should help hype. If Bitcoin continues to pump, we should be able to win our hype trade. It should, validate this bigger move. We're up $24, folks. My goodness. 1%. $36. The highest, $44. The highest we've ever been in the trade. $46, $54. Wow, I'm so blessed. Thank you. I'm so grateful. 58. I'm so grateful for 58. $63. 65. 77. 86. 91. How do you feel when the price action starts to move like this? Do you get hype? Does your heart race, or are you calm, cool, and collected? You got to act like nothing happened. You know what I mean? Look, we hit $90. To me, that's probably time to get out. I hit it. I can call it a day. It might just be a spike, some bear div, and this is it. That's all we ever get. See if we get the bigger move here. Basically, you want to see if Bitcoin slumps. And Thursday low volume, I'm still not believing that we're going to win this trade. I am the king of 3%. No one makes 3% more than me. We were up 3%, but the second I mentioned it, we weren't. Amazing. That's like this commercial. Yeah. It would be lovely to tap at 79, then bring it back down and knock out that level. Everyone loves exactly what they want. Come up here, knock this out, do that though. I'm just like, Bitcoin, do whatever you want. I know nothing but the fact of my own ignorance. I'm just going to sway to the movement. Just like a sailboat in the breeze, man. And if you change wind on me, I'm going to tack. And I'm going to jibe and I'm going to find my way. And I'm still going to sail on course eventually. I might have to get blown off course a little bit, but I'm going to make it to my destination, man. I'm going to make it to my destination. Shout out to anyone that hit the like button, man, as we got to our 1,000 watchers here, as we continue to move to the upside. God bless you all. Thank you so much for being here. And shout out to all my awesome streamers out here in the world. God bless them all, man. God bless them all. All the people that sit out here every day and stream, man. It's not easy. The streamer's life is a hard life. It's not easy being in the public eye every day. You know what I mean? I do it every single day. I understand. I may not be on kick like that, but, you might catch me. Just made my losses back and then some on hype. Close it out. Thanks for another amazing trade. Well, I don't know how much you put on that puppy, but it looks like you freaking cooked maybe you got in here and let it rip at that first. That was a first entry. Was really nice at 60.80. Let's see, baby. We need Bitcoin to really get a move on here. Hype could just go sideways for a while. I don't know. There's a lot of hype on it right now. Shout out to everybody here on the live, baby. Shout out to I Hate Crypto. I think he loves crypto, though. That's just his way of saying he loves us. You know what I mean? He's from Boston. No, but seriously, growing up in Boston, if your friend didn't tell you that you were a piece of nothing, he didn't love you. You know what I mean? It's just so funny, man. That's how we talk to each other about, hey, what up? What up, then? I can't even say the things we used to say. I have changed. I'm a changed man. Someone says, I think we could see Bitcoin hit 78,400. You think? You think so there, right? You think we could see Bitcoin hit to higher levels there? To the upside there, huh? So, this hype trade is not going perfect, but it's not going bad yet. It is a rising wedge. They break down 60% of the time. I wanted it to flatten out and break out. Looked like it was going our way, and now we got some trouble in paradiso. But let's see, man. Can the hype train win? Can people just ape so hard that I win this trade no matter what? Didn't risk a lot, but I tell you, man, I don't have a lot of luck with trading leverage on alts. If I see the move on an altcoin, I'll just go harder on a Bitcoin trade, I'm about to trade more altcoins than Bitcoin, though, because Bitcoin's been sideways for 3 days, and we've seen massive moves, and I've given some great calls. So, that's when the market has shifted. I started trading Bitcoin because altcoins were ish, and there was nothing there. So I started trading Bitcoin more often than ever. I used to trade altcoins way more than Bitcoin. Don't get me wrong. They were better. There was more fun. There was more money to be made. They were riskier, but there was more reward. I switched to Bitcoin the last year, really, because I had to, not because I even desired to. It was just kind of like, it's just a staying alive mentality. I'm not going to go down with the ship, right? To me, I already don't like it. Like, if it can't bounce right now, right back inside this pattern, right back above that 21, I mean, this is a wrap. It's deciding to go down. Sometimes I caught off trades right there. I'll lose $20. What do I have to lose, right? Almost could be right below this resistance. There you go. We got to get a nice candle here. And I'm going to leave hype alone, get back to Bitcoin here and see what's happening, because I'm starting to see something on Bitcoin that I love, what I just missed, dang. But a nice little ascending triangle above the 200. Now, we didn't touch the 21 yet. Tells me my better trade may be coming somewhere here or somewhere there. I don't know exactly. I start building before the trade. I love doing this. It's kind of my whole thing. It's called succession progression, right? And we wait for price action to come back to the 21 at a later period in time. Why? Because I've backtested every single pump that I could find around the world on multiple assets. And every single time I've seen that 90% of pumps come from the 21 touching above the 200 with low stochastic. So I don't think there's any reason to trade anything else because I've back tested it. You see what I mean? I went around every single asset in the world. As many as, I can't say every in the world because that's not true, right? But I covered as many things as I could that weren't related. Japanese yen, British pound, right? Look, Japanese yen futures, Lizard Japanese equity ETF, like whatever even that is. Euro JPY on Oanda, right? And like you could flip it too, but look at the beautiful pumps that happened. This pump started when you made a nice ascending triangle. You got really tight here. Similar to Ondo kind of right now is in a similar type of flag in a more uptrended position, right? Look, you got real tight, the 21, stochastics got low, then they started doing this thing, probably got low on like another time frame. That's the 1 minute, so. And then you could flip to the 1 hour. And we're still on Euro Japanese yen, right? Almost kind of right now telling us that this is interesting, right? And you see the Japanese stock market not doing too good, right? Nice gap there. That carry trades over, and you can see when was the pump. I mean, right here. S&P, looked like this a bunch, but look, you're tight. You got the 21 above the 200. You got the low stochastic. You take your measured move. Like this stuff I don't do this because I think it's funny. I do this because I've seen it. I've seen it hundreds and thousands of times on every asset I could ever find. Like it just happens over and over. Look, we're battling. We're still up, $6. So blessed to be up $6. That's amazing. You have to understand, man, just waking up, whether you're worth $1 billion, $1 million, $100,000, or you in debt today, you woke up. You woke up being able to breathe this beautiful air. You woke up having the ability to be amazing. You woke up with the opportunity to change your life. I mean, to me, that's a blessing. So shout out to everybody here that woke up today and knows that they themselves are the opportunity. The whole time I grew up, I read all these books, I watched all these movies, right? And they send the character out into the world to find himself, right? And so you're like, I gotta go out and find myself, find my opportunities. And at the beginning, yes, the world has to teach you things. There's things you need to pick up from your environment. Just like, animals, they learn from their environment, right? They understand things due to their environment. Sui's still battling. We're watching Sui without watching it. So now for Bitcoin to continue its whatever it may or may not do today, it's got to stay above the 200 now. The 21 has to come into play, and it has to then continue to the upside. There's just no question. If it fumbles the bag, makes a right shoulder here, and loses the 200, we're in one of those days that are just like, okay. If it actually makes a flag here and continues up, we have something. We have a daily candle that's changing. We have a reversal. The 1 minute in the next 10 minutes is going to tell you so much about the rest of the day. I know you don't know this, and I know you may not believe me, but I'm so spot on with this idea, I have to be honest with you. Okay. Sui, when did it start to bounce? When the stochastics got low near the 21-day moving average. Previous support as resistance was also hit. Sometimes it's not a line, it's a bubbled area. It's an area where you can clearly see a lot of resistance, a lot of candle action. There's a bounce there. If you think there's more coming, you look at the smaller time frame. Wow, the 15-minute did get a nice pump for Sui. So I called it Sui like we used to. Could it make a right shoulder here? You see how it's like, could it make a shoulder, head, right shoulder, and then break out? Or is it going to just continue to moon? 1 hour looks good. Like, see, it bounced out of the falling wedge. Kind of what we wanted to see Bitcoin do earlier today when I made my morning update. I'm saying, hey, I want to see Bitcoin bounce out the falling wedge to the upside. This trade is just flat right now. Not much to say, Oh, a little bit of movement now. Let's take a look at Ondo. Why do I keep calling it? Let's take a look at hype. Something's telling me maybe Ondo's the next one to pump, and it's a foreshadowing of what we're going to see soon. You know, maybe that's like a slip of universal prediction. Hey, I'm always trying to find the silver lining out of a mistake, right? Oh my gosh, there you go. I mean, that's the kind of candle that you're looking for. That's the price action we'd like to see so we can get a boom. It'd be so nice to win this all together here. Have some fun. Just put it along. Bitcoin Media 1111 entry at 77. Interesting. Wow, massive candle there. Puts us up $100. I looked away from the screen to read a chat. It took a half a second. Nice pump there. I could extract that $100 twice. I could have taken $100 and moved on now. I do want to move that stop to break even. See how they got the break even price for me right there too, which is nice. It's just to cover fees, just to show you what you got to do to cover your fee. Wow, big pumpage too. Both times getting rejected by the 62 area. You know, I guess a lot of take profit took profit. People are scared, man. They're selling a little, I think maybe slightly prematurely. In general, selling near the 21 is a folly. You know what I mean? You want to sell away from, this is where you sell, away from the 21. You buy near the 21. Technically, maybe it is a rising wedge. I could see there's some trouble in paradise here. I see this trade has been up and down. And watch, I end up losing it, you beg, but you were up twice, Sam. I get it. It's not a high risk for me. It was 260 for what? 900 baht, 990, right? And like, what's the point to even get excited, right? Blessings on blessings. Wow, that's a way to catch my attention for sure, right? Hondo looking good, baby. Sam, can you look at XRP? The charts are confusing me a bit. Interesting. Let's see what we can make sense of. Shout out to my man Mohammed asking for XRP. I appreciate that. Let's take a look at his super chat. Wow, Sui getting that's a massive green candle. On the 1 minute, on the 1 hour too. Wow, Bitcoin doing some damage. Bitcoin keeps stabilizing, hyping, you know, keeping hype from going down. And now look what we got cooking here. A nice little flag for Bitcoin. They're going to get me to make a long on BTC now. I mean, they keep giving me what I project, then I'll take a trade. So what I do is I project all day. If I get what I project, I take the trade. If I don't take the trade. I use a stop loss on every position because I have to know when I'm not willing to be in the trade anymore. Has to be an invalidation point for me. Otherwise, it's open-ended, and I'm so open-minded that I could keep that trade open, up and down. A trade like this could turn into a $30,000 loss for me. I could margin in and keep going and try to save it. You never know. I don't know. I don't know what I'll do. I'm out of my mind. And because of that, I have to keep myself contained before I even start. How I do that, and I learned this about myself. If I didn't know myself, I couldn't trade. So I keep myself inside tight parameters because that's how I have to trade. I know myself. I know thyself. Trading has revealed a lot about who I am to me. All right? The same it'll do for you. If you give it so much of yourself, it will give so much of you back. It will, I'm telling you. The one thing I love about trading is, take the money aside, take the lifestyle aside, making money from home. How many days I've made 3, 4, 5 grand before 12 o'clock from my house? Like, it's happened to me thousands of, not thousands, but hundreds and hundreds of times, right? So, and I'm not saying it's going to happen every time, but man, I have been blessed. And so I have to look at all those days I've made double, triple my weekly paycheck in one day that I used to make. And I didn't have to commute. I didn't have to go anywhere. I got to sit in my home in a chair and do what I love to do, right? So, and something that I found interesting, something that I found beautiful. I want to teach that to people. That's what I spread through this channel. Go after, whatever it is. Maybe you get inspired by me to do something different than trading, but at least watching you see me do what I love to do every day makes you do what you love every day. And look, now we're at $5 again. This was just a wild ride, right? Kind of looks like the shoulder, head, right shoulder now, like it's not going to happen. The 1 minute will teach you a lot about the trading day. It really will. Super chat, XRP. Let's take a look at that XRP right quick for my man. XRP, baby. XRP. All right. Wow, so the last time I looked at it, we wanted to, I mean, it made a really crazy move, came down, and we wanted to see if you could stay inside this pattern and able to trade it, right? Stay in the pattern, we'll trade you. Wow, it went all the way back down to where it began. I mean, people got this hype like it's, I think it's, I don't know, man. I'm not a huge fan of XRP. Too much hype around what could or would be on it every time. I don't know, man. It's kind of like the Strait of Hormuz. Like, they can open it and close it whenever they want, and they can use all this mythology around this, and this coin has that. So it's like, I think it gets used against its own, I don't know. Then you got the Jeb McCaleb and the selling and the I don't know, man. Man, God bless it. I don't want to put anyone's hopes or plans down, you know. Anyway, let's look at the big picture. Let's literally give it, but like you can see, I just draw a bear flag. Does it go to 29 cents? I don't know. So if you look at XRP, it looks bearish on the weekly. Compare it to a lot of other coins. Like, you know, compare it to a bullish chart. Like, what's the difference between a bearish and a bullish chart? Real simple. Put two charts next to each other. All right. Like, look at Bitcoin's chart. Look at XRP's chart. Look at Bitcoin on the weekly. Look at XRP on the weekly. Bitcoin's been in an uptrend. XRP's been just going slightly down in a bear. Like, if Bitcoin had stayed sideways and made a bear flag like this, we'd be bearish right now. Bitcoin broke out of its previous high using support. Like, there's a chance, you know, you might see some fireworks up here now. XRP does, I don't know, man. I don't know what's doing. Hugging the weekly 200. I mean, usually that's a good place to buy. So it's a discount, but man, I mean, when you're not outperforming Bitcoin, you're small. I mean, Bitcoin's been outperforming almost all the assets, but still, like, it just, I don't know, man. That's sketchy business to me. So if you're in for long-term holding, then you set your big areas of buy. You set buy zones. So if I'm going to buy something long-term, I want to get it as least as expensive as possible. Agreed? So I'll set my lines. I'll say, okay, look, resistance, 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 resistance. That's a baseline area. Resistance there. And then main, like, you know, lowest they'll probably ever get back, you know, 37 cents. Will that happen again? I don't know. But if I really like this, I'm like, okay, I'd like to buy 119. If it ever breaks below here, I'd like 85. You could say it just breached a weekly trend line. That gives you some hope that even though it's lateral, like meaning more sideways, that at least it did break out. So then you go to the 5-day. Kind of inverted head and shoulder, attempting to hold a higher low. But again, like, to me, it looks like it broke a trend line. Right? I don't know. It looks way more bearish than other alts. That looks like a shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder, shoulder. That looks bearish to me. I don't know if something's going to come out where people think it's connected and then they find out it's not. I don't know if there's some bearish news. It almost looks like, show me the chart, like something bad's going to come out about XRP in the next 5 or 6 days, and then there's going to be a little bit of sell-off. I can't explain that, but shoulder, shoulder, head. And again, maybe it reverses and rips. I'm not a, you know, but dang, I have to be honest, I wouldn't touch it. It tells me that, like, it's got to get back above 150 for me to believe in it. It has got tight moving averages. It's away from the 200. This could be a perfect higher low buy zone. I don't believe in XRP like that to really care about getting in at this point. If I was going to swing trade it, I need to get it above 150, give it some momentum, and then I'll think about touching it. I can see how you're confused because it's like, wow, yeah, it's, you know, XRP, the new financial system. But no, man, they're selling us a story that I don't believe is connected. XRP and RWA, they're going to have their own stable coins. BlackRock's going to come out. JP Morgan. I already talked to JP Morgan. They have Connexus. Right? They Connects. I went over, you know, I sat with one of their reps and they went over their entire new system. Now it's slowly moving. It's not like, but they're moving money, man. In between their own banks in different parts of the world, right? Yeah, I'm just, to me, XRP's a story they sold the retail investor. Well, I mean, it is at a big high volume node. It's at a chunky place. It seems like it's attempting the bottom there at 127. Again, great place to DCA if you're thinking to hold it long term and you believe in the project. I don't. I really don't. I really appreciate you, Sam. Thank you for the analysis. Anytime, man. God bless you, brother. And again, don't take anything I say as financial advice, please. I have no idea what I'm talking about. This is just for entertainment purposes only. All right. You know, XPR has been an interesting little coin. See, this is above its 6-hour 200 moving average. A little tight. Price action is very, very loose here. You can see it needs more volume. Sammy, do you ever consider correlation between cryptos? Like, man, one warns us of what's coming for the other. Yes, I've seen it before. Where, like, you'll watch certain price action on one coin, and I almost feel like they send each other messages through a coin. Like, they sit together and they write down a ticker at a big dinner or something. And they tell each other, like, we'll do it to this ticker first, and that's the one that's going to tell us what they're going to... I really feel like it's a messaging system. So they can do something on one chart, and they all know without saying anything what's going to happen next, because they're like, that's the indication. I know, and I may be out of my mind, and again, I don't know if you... I can't correlate it perfectly, and if I can't actually make a mathematical matching system that I can use, right, to track what I'm saying, I feel like it's pointless. You know what I mean? Well, I can't use the data to analyze the speed of what's happening, then what's the point of using it? But the concept sits in my mind, yes. So look, they dropped the Bitcoin price, which means I probably lost my Ondo trade bad. 105, there you go. Up back to 45. They're flipping it around, though. It's not over just yet. Don't believe the hype. But, I mean, we've lost the trend line now. For me, it invalidates the trade. And at this point, I would move on. Like, it didn't do what I wanted it to do. I'd move on. Like, why risk the added to, 270? For me, everyone else is like, oh, because you could have won and you would have, should have, could have. I don't really care about that. I had a defined plan. It didn't happen. It didn't happen the way it was supposed. That should have bumped. It did not. It never did, And again, I backtested this stuff, so I know that it works. When it doesn't, I just have to sit there and wait it out. There's a chance the 5-minute could give me some grace, telling me it's worth sitting it out here, but I don't know. We'll see. Hype. I called it Ondo again. Why am I doing? There's something weird going on there, man. I would write that down. I would write Ondo down and be like, something's going on with Ondo. Funny, I gave it to the group right here at about 34. It ripped up to 41. And again, that was just previous support as resistance. The daily looked really nice. It was touching that 21 and the 200. They were getting close with the stochastics. It hit the 21 with low stochastics. Bang. Ondo, baby, Ondo. I see Ondo making a climb up to 60 cents. Following that same price, even the exact same price too. Right? 60 and 60, 160 cents, $160, but the exact, the number the same. Kurtz asked for Aave, and let me take a look. I'm not missing any fan funding here today on the show. Sam, can you look at XRP? The charts are confusing me. We took care of that. Thank you, Muhammad. God bless you. Salam alaikum there. Good morning, Livers. Best show in crypto. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Dude Tang, the dumpster diver. Thank you, brother. Aave, please, from Kurt Shore. Kurt, let's take a look. Let's take a look at AAVE USDT here in the markets. Aave token. When Aave wakes up, it's usually when the market begins to move. When Aave got that first initial pump, I was interested, then it got that crazy little bit of something happened, right? It was like a slight hack, not on Aave itself, but it was an exploit. Aave's back to where it begins to build. To me, it's a great buy long term. It's more about use case and paying attention. I've always liked Aave. It's got a strong team. It's got a strong product. It's the most, I feel like, institutionally based DeFi product out there that you can really put, sink your teeth into. The 3 days low. It's a great place to buy into Aave. Would I do it? Honestly, no. I'm not feeling altcoins like that. I'm just DCing into Bitcoin. I'm actually starting to see ETH as a more attractive long-term hold. if we do get the movement that we're looking for in RWA and tokenization in the stock market, because that's just, I don't see how that doesn't help, how ETH doesn't become a forefront winner of that idea. The most on-chain use case in the world, and it, you know, Ethereum, right? So and again, I've never seen more. I used to trade a lot of these flags more often, and again, they're loopy now. And again, price action is just not the same as it used to be. Once Bitcoin got institutionalized, it flops and gropes a lot more, right? We wait on tweets. We have a lot more geopolitical unrest too that makes people with big money go in and out all the time. I even think they're creating opportunity, more short-term opportunity for themselves than they've ever had, where they can put like $1 billion in and get out with 200 mil. And they're doing a lot of that stuff. Really using price action to kind of create scalp on massive. And that's why the market seems to be kind of catering to that behavior, right? They're pushing everyone to prediction markets too, which I have to be honest, like as much as I love it, I'm like, it's a scary time to be alive. See a lot of broke people. A lot of opportunities are being taken away. You know, people, LinkedIn are getting laid off. Amazon laid off. There's huge layoffs due to AI. I mean, you don't need all these people anymore. You can run an AI bot that does what they do. Answer the phones. You don't need people to answer the phones anymore. If you're smart, you can get that taken care of by AI. Honestly, AI consulting firms should be really the next big thing. You know, I want to run AI. I want to lay off, let's say, a large portion of I want to save money. I'm just saying, you know, this is how a business owner thinks. I'm making $10 million a year. I'm spending $3 million. What if I could spend $1 million, sell the same products, not change anything, and work on what I'm also enhancing value? So, okay, great. So you sell yourself this idea, but you don't want to work hard. You don't want to hire cloud bot. You could do it yourself and ask AI and sit there all day, but you want to golf. You want to hang out with your kids. You don't want to give more time that you've already given to the company. So you hire an AI consultant, and he says, listen, when I'm done setting up these movements and, you know, all these kind of prompts and everything, you're going to be able to lay off a third of your workforce, and I'm going to save you yada, yada, yada. At that rate, I'll charge you 10%. I mean, imagine that. Maybe even you'd pay 20, maybe even 30. And so if you can figure out, like, and right now, so I'm giving someone an idea right now. Sit alone and say, hey, you know, and ask your bot or whatever, you know, whatever you're using, whether it's Perplexity, Gemini, whatever you're using, JackGPT, SuperGrok, and say, hey, help me become an AI consultant for people that are too scared or not ready to get in, but know they need it. Because there's a lot of people like that. They know they need it, they're scared, but they won't get in. And there's going to be, I mean, when the internet came out, there was a lot of businesses, all you had to do was go in and say, hey, you're not on the internet. I could help you get on the internet. And at first, people were like, get away from me. At one point, people were like, yeah, I'm just too scared. I don't know HTML. I don't know. And all you had to do was have like simple, like you didn't even have to be a genius. You could even be like level 1. But your level 1 is way ahead of their level 1 if they want to stay incompetent. So you use that edge and you take that as, and that's consulting, man. That's the consulting business. I don't think people realize how simple it is, right? Now, again, there's going to be people way above you that know way more. I'm saying you're a level 1 consultant, but it doesn't mean you still can't dive in. There's money for everybody out here when there's a transition change in technology. Because you're going to have the latecomers that don't want to do your work, and you just got to put in the work for like a month straight, work on the AI. Like come home every night and put 3 to 4 hours in. Stop watching TV or whatever you were doing, whatever show you're addicted to, whatever doom scrolling you've been doing. Say, hey, AI, make me better today. What can I work on that'll help, you know, change my revenue? You know, demand it. Demand it out of yourself and out of your situation, and it'll come. AI will find a way to help you. And look, I have such bad luck trading altcoins, man. And I just never do it. Not on leverage. You know, I trade altcoins spot all the time in different ways, but. And again, the entry was way before this, so. Smart, man. When I lose, I don't lose a lot. That's the one gift that I do have. I'm invalidated, so like I'm just kind of out. Unless you can wick off this 21 here and give me something. Now it feels like people are selling Ondo for Bitcoin. You see what I mean? Like the carry trade is over. They're going to swing that puppy back in. That's what I see. I mean, that's what it looks like. 5-minute flag is set. The 1 minute is looking like it's inside the mold. I got to use my Bitcoin skills to make up for my my greediness trading alt. See, I think alts is just greedy. A lot of my students are better at it than me. I have to be honest. I'm an old man in some respects. I got 3 kids and a wife, man, and I've got certain assets that I don't want to push it. You see what I mean? It's sad. I became less risky as I got older. You met me 3 years ago. I was way risky. Even 5 years ago, I was out of my mind risky with my trade. Dang, man, there it goes. Ondo's actually getting a little help here. Dang, I missed the pump. Like, it's all right. It's a Thursday, but you never know. Low volume, low order books get this thing to rip fast. We get up to 77.8 nicely. Remember, Bookmap keeps saying we're going up to get red. That's the low-hanging fruit. That's the easy money. 78.5. 78.650. Lately, all the pumps have been like this. Just no follow-through on the pump. The last big pump we got was that day. Remember the day we got the pump, that I was awake for the stream was like a week ago when I got that $500 in 3 minutes, right? Ever since then, we have not gotten a nice big move. It's always been just, it's like, come on, man. We're back to 77.3. That's been the high of the show. Have you noticed? It's the highest Bitcoin gets, and then we get rejected from it. Could really get to 77.5, it'll change this whole parameter here for the day. You can see there's our resistance right there, 77,300. That was our block last night. We got to break that and use that as support now. So people are selling in here because they're using this resistance. The buyers have to overpower the sellers here. This is it. This is the battle. This is why you're going to see it. Now, if it breaks, we can get a nice fast move out. Come on, baby, do the do. So flat, man. It's like, I didn't take the trade, just so you know, too. Trade less, make more, baby. Ondo trade's still open, but I don't like it. It invalidated my plan already. Maybe Bitcoin could just hold up Ondo right here. We get a pump, and somehow the whole market will get taken up. VVV continues to do damage. It's funny, like I was given a message there at Vegas. I'm sitting there eating that burger with my peoples, man. Dude, I got into this Chinese coin at 38. It's at 45. Almost 20% now. VV hit, we started at 9, it went to 18. Up 21% on the week and just continuing. I still like Aster, and I liked it at 65, and you could see moving with all the decentralization. Decentralized. Okay, tokenization is a big deal. Decentralized exchanges are a big deal. They kind of go hand in hand with tokenization. That's why you're seeing Hype and Aster move to get, move up a little bit. Ondo as well. That's RWA. That's why Ondo's looking nice. All right, and then you have Hyperliquid. So start putting the pieces together, understanding what's happening, and seeing kind of the narrative, what's going on, and how that's moving price action. Okay? I did look at Edge a while back, too. It's up, 8% in 24 hours. It's at 145. I tell you, this VVV is working for people, man. They like it. It has a use case. Hyperliquid, the biggest winner, up 18%. All right, up 42% on the week. I mean, that's a beautiful move. 00 back in the mix. Edge, right? So then we look at categories. AI and big data, real world asset protocols, right? Chainlink at the top. Only down 9% on the week, which is weird, right? It's like you think, but I own Chainlink. I have a big bag of it. I believe in it. Let's see where it can go. All right. I just, Ondo, Sky, Algorand, XDC, Injective Protocol, Pendle. This is a BECnet with a ZBCN. I've been looking at this. I think that's, the move can fly into that eventually. A lot of people talking about Telcoin recently again. It's getting a lot of love. When I asked for coins that people liked on X, Telcoin came up a lot, which is, I didn't expect that. Open Eden keeps coming up. It's up 212% in 7 days. All right. I used to get into Chintai. I don't like the price action there. I had TokenFi. I still owned it. Remember GFI? We got into heavy RWA projects, but they pumped super fast, and then they kind of left the market just sitting there. Lumarin's another one to possibly watch, but low market cap. Eden up big. Let's look at Eden. Someone asked about it yesterday. So, wow, man, Bitcoin got the move, came back down. Look at the volatility on these days now. And what I do is I just get rid of my old idea because I don't want to get held down by it. You start to build this plan here, you can see this is what's really happening. And that might be our move out of that. Might, and you can see kind of this rounded uptrend. The highs are getting higher. It's getting more vertical each time. Every time they sell off, there's a buy, sell off, buy, right? Yeah, I'm not saying this is guaranteed. This might make a head and shoulder. To not know anything is to know everything. And I don't mean that, but to not know what's going to happen is to be ready for anything that does happen. To know what's going to happen is to box yourself in. Oh, Bitcoin's definitely doing this. Who knows what Bitcoin's going to do? I know nothing but the fact about ignorance. I have no idea what Bitcoin's going to do. No clue. None at all. You know what I'm saying? None. So, I don't stress that idea. I don't have to be a genius. I don't have to know the future. And that way I could just take whatever trade comes my way. I tell you, man, I put my faith in God. If I didn't, I don't know how I would have been. I would not have gotten this far, folks. I have no clue. Shout out to my man. He's starting his chemo. God bless you, Nico Neo. I hope you make it. I know you're going to make it, man. We love you. The whole crypto community loves what you've done, Hate him or love him, man. The guy's out there every day grinding no matter what, so. And follow me here at CryptoLifer33. On our way. Come on, man. Help me crack. We're so close to 42,000. Help me crack it. I'm been aggressive. Look, there I am. It's so funny right there talking about Nick. I met Nick. Shout out to my wife, man. I love my wife. She's the best. I have the best wife in the game. I never want anyone. We thought this would be a funny little joke, but someone, you see how people react, but some funny stuff there in the comments. Thought we would get way more comments than that. Right? And there you go. You start doom scrolling right there, right? And you keep going. So 77.2. Bitcoin wants to hold that 200 moving average. Not helping my Ondo trade much, but at least the 200 is showing it's like, hey, thou shalt not pass. And so this is what you're looking for, the daily to dig in here. You're looking for no, we're not going lower, man. You're looking for a strong, we break above this resistance here. You see resistance. We fell through. We made a new floor. We test and bounce 77.5. We go to 77.8. We cruise out and take out these shorts here at 77.5, at 78,550. That's what we're looking for, folks. All right. All right. What's going on with Nick? Apparently he has Hodgkin's lymphoma. Yeah, he's been diagnosed with that, so. He said, at this point, you owe it to Onda. I know, right? For sure. Where are you going? Okay. I love you. Bye. Michael Strategy created STRC, an amazing machine. People bought 10 billion in strategy in a few months. Amazing. It is amazing what he did. Yeah. And hype continues to rip to the upside. My hype trade is still down, is about to get taken out, actually. There we go. I can't believe I'm not out yet. I should have been out by now. Oh, 260 was it? 260, you say? So now they're selling hype for BTC. I'm late to the party. Actually, why not? Let's just see if I can stay in. Will Sam get stopped out here? Yes or no? Open up your poly market bets now. Will Sam price get stopped out on the hyper trade he calls Ondo? On the hyper trade that he called Ondo 17 times. Only time will tell. I overcame that 4 years ago, but the carbs out, brother. Thank you. I had Hodgkin's as a kid. He will prevail. I like to hear that. Oh my God, a massive pump here. I bet that's Bitcoin doing a massive pump. No, hype just on its own, bullying up. Dude, I may just still, you never know. I could win. I wake up to $1,000 in a couple hours. Set it and forget it. That's it. Let it cook, baby. Let it cook. I like this. I'm looking for this to break out now. I like this trade more than any other trade I've seen in a bit, because I could be deep on my stop, below two lows and a support or resistance flip, and the 200 moving average. I don't like Thursdays. They're low volume and sketchy business. I've learned my lesson. I've traded every single day, every single time period. I found the ones that work the most. So you could either learn by doing or learn by, I never had a mentor. I just did it all until it made sense. It's like I played inside the sandbox until I messed up everything. And then I knew what to do after all that, right? God talks to Sammy, listens too, never bet. Hey, I don't know, man. Yes or no? Set and forget, no way. Yeah, man. My man, FTX. I know all the traders, man. I never met him, but I know who he is. Peace and blessings, brother. Are you ready for some ET altcoins? Take a look at Kite, my love, brother. Kite AI, baby. That kite, man, that kite. I mean, I saw it getting really tight here, like it wanted to break out. It broke up a little prematurely, but you could even just tighten up the flag, and I mean, there it goes, right? Ascending triangle to the upside. Let's clean this up for a second here. Sorry. I deleted my indicators. Foolishly. Let's take a look at the daily candle here. For kite, like, I'd like to see it do something like this, right? Pull up. Yeah, you got to almost get really aggressive with that trend line. But come back to that trend. I mean, remember that first initial run up, January? It went from about 9 cents to 29 cents. I mean, a nice move. Bitcoin, baby. Stabilizing somewhat here. See, now I'm like, now I got to move my stop too close. It's like I forgot about my what I was about to do there. Now it's got to be 77,013. See, that's a difference between 77,964 or whatever it was. Changes the whole story. 3,000 for 100, 370 for 1,200. Yeah, Bitvunny, yep. Thank you. Buy signal on the 15-minute for BTC. I mean, getting very tight. I don't know about a buy signal. It's right at that 200 though, meaning it could break out. The 5-minute looks pretty good too. Everything looks nice. But I don't trust Thursdays at all. At all. Do you guys say at all or at all? I don't trust Thursdays at all. I don't trust Thursdays at all. At all. You know. At this point, I'm convinced hype does not exist. There are just two Ondos. I know, right? You're funny. Dude, my hype trade's still sitting there. I'm the only guy. Like, back in the good spot. Now you're 4x, 300 for 1,200. I mean, you got to buy red candles to get the best scenarios. I've been fasting for 3 days, folks. Not for 3 days. I've eaten at night, but I've only eaten once a day. I've been loving it. I'm going to do the same thing today. Keep myself limber. You know what I mean? When you look at IREN chart, please, dude, thank you for reminding me about IREN. It's been a long time. A long time. And I love the project. I like the coin. I like the security. Let's take a look. So I did call that bottom in that area. It did stop out though, technically, right? They kind of hunted. They hunt everything nowadays. It's almost like you gotta, for me, whenever I'm going, the biggest money I've ever made is when I believe in a project and I DCA it. This looks big to me. It tells me it's time to get in for its another leg. It's about to go again. I may drop some money in this thing because I met the team. They gave me the hat. All right. At Bitcoin Nashville, I believe. We're talking almost 2 years ago now. And I come home with the hat and my mom's name was Irene, right? And I see IREN and it makes me think of my mom because and I wear the hat all the time and a matching shirt. And then I started watching the stock around here and I start looking at 19 and then the thing goes to 80. There's a 4x in my face and I'm like, dude, they were telling me what to do. And here we are again getting very tight. Again, high risk on an actual trade with a stop because I never know lately with the way the market's shifting. But I like this as a DCA long term personally. And I got to crack open my Webull account and get IREN going there. Need to spend like 2 hours too getting things ready. It's crazy. Been holding IREN since 6. It's going to 205 over the next few years. That's crazy. You've been holding it since 6. I'm envious. Dang, man. Not envious, but wow. Right? He says Mara will play out like IREN. Maybe. I don't know, man. He says Mara a better spot to DCA. I have a bunch of Mara still, and I should have put in a bit. Bitcoin was like 20,000. I bought 15K worth of Mara. I would have made so much more money buying Bitcoin. All right. I like IREN right now. It looks really nice on the daily. That's a beautiful consolidation. Never sell your Bitcoins. Never sell your Bitcoin ETH. And they took me out of the Ondo trade, as you can clearly see. Do I revenge trade it with Bitcoin now? Can easily see them dip it and rip it again. Lately, it's been a fest of low volume snatchings. Then you don't buy and you miss a pump too, so. Totally, Mara is selling off, you know. I had the same thing happen to me recently, and I bought something on a weird premonition. That's weird. You should revenge it on Ondo. Never. Never. Back to my Bitcoin ways. Only risk 300 to bring it all back home, baby. You know? That's a beautiful flag right there, but man, they're just like taking the gas out the car recently. You crack that 200 on the 15, you're close to that. You get a pump, though. You get yourself a pump, boy. We're going pump. And so far, Bitcoin is moving back up, like we talked about. 1 hour breaking out, bullish engulfing candle. Moving up. Tells me there's a good chance I win the smaller trade and the bigger trade. Lately, I've been trading the 1 hour more than the smaller time frames. Less likely to get stop hunted on the 1 hour time frame. You know, they go after everyone else that's not trading the 1 hour, and then you get the trade. So the bigger time frames have been holding me down. Bitcoin's finally back to 77.2, 75, 77.3 almost again. Again. I got slaughtered buying some of your old call for alts, so I'm just out completely at the heebie-sheebie from alts last downturn. Oh, yeah. I mean, they weren't calls. I was looking at the charts, and the charts, you know, we got slammed, dude. We got slammed. So you got to pay attention when I'm looking at something. I'm like, Ondo's hot, bro. Like, that's hot. Hype was hot. Like, Hype and Ondo both look like they're going to do something. You could see Hype before it happened, too, you know? Now, you got slaughtered some of my own calls. I don't make calls, number one. I go over charts. You got slaughtered buying what you thought was good. I don't know if you charted it. I don't know what you did. You got slaughtered. I love this. I got slaughtered buying some here. I just love this. Like, no responsibility of his own. It's all my fault. Like, yeah. Hey. You buy the blood, not the top. Amen. I like where the 1 hour is right now. I'm going to venture in shadily on a Thursday. I don't like to go lower than, like, I don't know, 3-4 million, really. 3-4 mil if I'm going to DC into something I think is going to get big. Trading-wise and swing trading, I want to trade 50 mil volume, really. You know what I mean? Our boy Donnie T bought Mara this quarter, just saying. Yeah. I mean, I'll take a look at Mara. I bought it at $8. I don't like looking at it. Oh, wow, it actually is up. Amazing. But, like, and I got it at 8. It went to 32, 31. I 4x'd here. I basically 4x'd almost again at 30. So I 4x'd this position 3 times, man. Just believing it was it was on the way up on an uptrend, like Bitcoin was, and it just, they sold off their shares constantly. Like, I don't know what they're doing, man. You know, I don't know what's happening. They don't seem to be reinvesting the money properly, right? Let me find out. Liver will have his own cereal brand. Nah, cereal, too processed, but. I'll hold Mara. I've held Mara already for 2.5 years, maybe 3 years now. I bought right here, October of 2023. Yeah, it'll be 3 years come this fall. I bought into Mara on this cup in hand. I actually called the bottom there. A buddy of mine asked me to chart it out one day. He asked me about it. Yeah. They're investing in AI data centers. We'll see what happens. They're becoming an AI play, so at least I hold AI. So it could skyrocket. I mean, it is a nice falling wedge. Get above that 200 on the weekly and let's do some damage. Trade here on Bitcoin. See if we can end up at 78,168. Take out those late shorts, right? They're out of mining now. They're doing AI. Yeah. Everyone wants to change it up now to see if they can get a sliver too. Like, I mean, even me, that shows kind of shadiness, right? Anyway, price action has been very, very tough. A lot of back and forth. The 4 hour and the 1 hour have proven to be better off. Zooming out, trading less has been a plan. That's been kind of my idea recently. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Sharing your most precious asset with me, and that is your time. I appreciate you so much more than you would ever know. All right. So we'll see. Space is the final frontier. Yeah, they're going to build a moon base. Sure they are. Maybe they are. You know what I mean? I'd be the first one to go. Tell you what it's like. So I'll report back. I'll stream live from the moon. I'd be cool to be the first live streamer to stream from the moon. The foot's going okay. Thank you for asking. Appreciate it. Everything seems well and intact. Yeah. We're here. Shout out to Underground Crypto, Jamal, Antonio, and all my people, man. Yep. Everybody, I love you. Thank you so much. I will see you all tomorrow for another beautiful, amazing live stream, even on a Friday, even as we continue to push forward every single day. God bless you all. Thank you for coming on in. I'll see you guys tomorrow.